Hey friends, it's Mrs. Walker. For our lesson today, we're going to continue talking about even and odd numbers, and we're going to use arrays to help us. So our learning goal for today says, I can use rectangular arrays to investigate even and odd numbers. So the materials that you'll need for this lesson are your dry erase board, and you'll need your square tiles, about 25 of them. So make sure you grab those before you get started. All right, friends, so let's jump in. So let's investigate even and odd numbers some more today. Let's investigate these even and odd equations. So we're going to use our square tiles to investigate even numbers plus even numbers to see if we get an even number or an odd number. We're going to investigate even numbers plus odd numbers to see if we get even or odd as our sum. And then we're going to investigate odd numbers plus odd numbers and see if we get even or odd as the sum. So grab your square tiles and let's build some arrays. So first, you're going to actually take your board, your dry erase board, and you're going to build right on top of that. On the left side, you're going to make 2 rows of 3. And on the right side, you're going to make 2 rows of 4. So pause the video, make both those sets of arrays, and then click play when you're ready for the next step. All right, friends. So here I have 2 rows of 3 and 2 rows of 4. How many tiles do I have in my 2 rows of 3? We have 6 tiles, right? Is 6 even or odd? It's even, right? Okay, so let's jump over to my 2 rows of 4. How many tiles do I have? 8 tiles. Is 8 even or odd? Yeah, it's even, right? Because they all have a partner and they all have a pair. Same thing with my 6 tiles. So let's see what happens when we add these two even numbers together. So slide your arrays together to make one array. So pause the video, slide them together, make one array, and then click play when you're ready for the next step. All right, friends, here's what I got. Boom, they're slid together, right? So how many tiles do you have all together now? 14 tiles. Is that even or odd? 14. Right, it's even, right? Because they all have a partner when we look at our tiles there together. We also know that there's a 4 in the ones place, and we've learned in previous lessons that a 4 is even. So even plus even equals even. Let's try it again to prove this idea. All right, so make the arrays and write how many tiles and even or odd for each array. So the same thing we just did in the last one. This time you're going to make 2 rows of 4 and 2 rows of 8. So pause the video, make both of those, label how many tiles total for each array and whether each array is even or odd. And then click play when you're ready to go over it together. All right, friends, pause if you need more time. All right, so here I have 2 rows of 4. There's 8 tiles, and we know that that's even. Then I know my 2 rows of 8 looks like this. There's 16 tiles, and that's even. Did you guys get that too? Okay, awesome. All right, so slide your arrays together to make one array. Then you're going to count how many tiles and decide if the new array is even or odd. So pause the video, slide them together, determine even or odd, and then click play when you're ready to go over it together. All right, friends, pause if you need more time. All right, so here's my new array. Whew, that's a big one, right? So how many tiles do you have all together now? 24 tiles. Is that even or odd? Yeah, it's even, right? Because we can see there that they all have a partner, and we know that there's a 4 in the ones place, and 4 is an even number. Awesome. So let's add that to our chart. So we're going to come back to our chart here. So we just did even plus even, And we found out that that equals even. So anytime, friends, no matter how big the number is, anytime you add an even number plus an even number, it's going to equal an even number. Okay, so now let's investigate our even and odd. So let's see what happens when we add an even and an odd. So make the arrays and write how many tiles, and even or odd for each array. So we're going to do 2 rows of 3. And then we're going to do 2 rows of 3, but we're going to add 1 tile on the top row in the second array. Okay, so 2 rows of 3 on the left, 2 rows of 3 on the right, plus 1 more tile on the top. Okay, so pause the video, make those arrays, label how many tiles there are and if it's even or odd, and then click play when you're ready to go over it together. All right, friends, pause if you need more time. All right, so here's my 2 rows of 3. 2 rows of 3 is 6 tiles, and we know that 6 tiles is even. Let's come over to my 2 rows of 3 and then add 1 row on the, or 1 tile on the top row. So there we go. So we have 2 rows of 3 plus 1 more up there. That's 7 tiles, and 7 tiles is odd, right? Because that last one doesn't have a partner. So we're going to slide the tiles, or I'm sorry, slide your arrays together to make one array, and then you're going to count how many tiles and decide if the new array is even or odd. So pause the video, slide them together, count the tiles, and decide if it's even or odd, and click play when you're ready to go over it together. All right, friends, pause if you need more time. So here's my new array. How many tiles do you have all together? Yeah, we have 13 tiles. Is that even or odd? It's odd, right? Because if we look at our picture, we have that one guy all the way on the right, that yellow tile. He doesn't have a partner, right? And we also know that 3 is in the ones place, and that's an odd number. All right, so let's add that to our chart. So if we add an even number plus an odd number, we're going to get an odd number. Every single time, friends, not just one time, every time, no matter how big the even numbers, no matter how small the even numbers, no matter how big the even or odd and how small the odd, it doesn't matter. Any even number plus an odd number is always going to be an odd number. Okay, so let's jump into our next one. So let's see what happens when we add an odd and an odd. So make the arrays and write how many tiles and even or odd for each array. So this time you're going to do 2 rows of 3 and you're going to add 1 tile to the top row on the right. Okay. The other side, you're going to do 2 rows of 4 and you're going to add 1 tile to the bottom row on the left. And it's important where you put that extra tile for when we're going to slide it together. Okay. So pause the video. Make those new arrays and add that 1 extra tile on each array where it's said in the directions. And then write how many tiles for each array and whether it's even or odd. And click play when you're ready to go over it together. All right, friends, pause if you need more time. All right, here we go. So I have 2 rows of 3 with an extra tile on the top row on the right. I have 7 tiles there. We know that 7 is odd. Here's my 2 rows of 4 with that extra tile on the bottom row on the left. Okay. Here's my 9 tiles, right? That makes 9. And we know that 9 is odd. So what I want you guys real quick to do before you do the next step at all, if for some reason your arrays do not look exactly like mine, where there's 4 on the left-hand side, there should be 4 on the top and 3 on the bottom. On the right-hand side, there should be 4 on the top and 5 on the bottom. If they don't look like that, I want you to pause the video real quick, make them match my array, and then click play when they do. If they don't match, or if they match already, you don't have to pause at all. You can just keep on going. All right, so as long as your arrays match mine, let's go to the next step. So you're going to slide your arrays together to make one array. Count how many tiles and decide if the new array is even or odd. So pause the video, slide them together, count them, decide even or odd, and click play when you're ready to go over it together. All right, friends, pause if you need more time. All right, so here's my new array. Notice how they slid together very nicely, didn't they, when I arranged them that certain way? So now we have 2 rows of 8. How many tiles do you have altogether? Yeah, 16 tiles. Is that even or odd? It's even, right? They all have a partner, and a 6 is in the ones place, and that's an even number. Good job, friends. All right, so odd plus odd equals even. Let's add that to our chart. So now we're odd plus odd equals even. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. My mind is blown with that, right? So friends, no matter what your numbers are, whether you know the sum of them or not, anytime you add an even number plus an even number, it's going to equal an even number. An even number plus an odd number is going to equal an odd number. And an odd number plus an odd number is going to equal an even number. Pretty cool how that works out, right? It's pretty amazing. Well, let's see if this still applies when we're adding larger numbers. So let's just double check some. So I'm going to leave my chart up there to help us. So 10 plus 12. Okay. Is 10 even or odd? It's even, right? It ends in 0. So that means it's an even number. So I'm going to write that underneath. Is 12 even or odd? It's even, right? Because it ends in a 2, right? In the ones place. So what's 10 plus 12? Yeah, it's 22. Is 22 even or odd, and how do you know? Well, 22 is even because 2 is in the ones place and 2 is even. Also, remember, back up to an even number plus an even number equals an even number, so you can use those rules to help us. All right, let's try another one. So 22 plus 3. Is 22 even or odd? Yeah, it's even, right? Because the 2 in the ones place. So let's label that even. Is 3 even or odd? Yeah, it's odd, right? So we'll label that one. What's 22 plus 3? 25. Is 25 even or odd, and how do you know? Well, it's even. Or no, I'm sorry, 25 is odd because 5 is in the ones place and 5 is odd. Or we can follow those new rules that we just learned. So an even number plus an odd number equals an odd number. Huh, kind of cool, right? Okay, let's check out one more. So 21 plus 5. Is 21 even or odd? Yeah, it's odd, right? Because that 1 is in the ones place and that's an odd number. So let's label that. Is 5 even or odd? Yeah, it's odd, right? Because 5 doesn't have a partner. So let's label that. So what's 21 plus 5? Yeah, it's 26, right? Is 26 even or odd, and how do you know? Well, 26 is even because 6 is in the ones place and 6 is even. Or our new rule of an odd number plus an odd number equals an even number. Oh, man, that's so cool. So friends, keep that in mind today when you're working on your problem set and even in future lessons. Those new rules that we just learned of even plus even equals an even number, even plus odd equals an odd number, and odd plus odd equals an even number. Okay? All right, so boom. You guys did an awesome job using arrays to investigate those even and odd numbers, and you learned some new rules today. So that's super cool, and that will help you with identifying even and odd numbers. So please head back on over to the module to see what you need to complete for your independent practice. As always, if you have any questions, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to help. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye, friends.